So over the last few months, ever since the election, the big topic in the entire space around the regulatory side of things, outside of just like dismissing cases, pausing cases, and things like that, has been stablecoin legislature, right? We know that this is a big piece of not just crypto anymore, right? It's not a big piece of just crypto. No, this is actually now becoming a big piece for even traditional finance, as we do start to see big names, for example, like MasterCard, moving in on the tokenization space, along with, acknowledging how big stablecoins will become. And one thing that really kind of comes to mind is how far ahead Ripple actually is when it comes to this because of RLUSD and how that's going to benefit XRP and the XRPL. Well, we actually have a lot to talk about, especially around the US market. So welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's dive on in and let's talk about this. Number one, let's start off with MasterCard. So MasterCard has now tokenized 30% of its transactions in 2024. Big move, especially from a prominent name like MasterCard. Everyone knows MasterCard, and acknowledges that stablecoin's potential to disrupt traditional finance. Now, as you guys are all aware, I have been talking about stablecoins for a while on this channel because they are a big game changer. I mean, listen, I have traveled around the world. I've tried to send money around the world. I have tried to make transactions around the world. It is a nightmare. And don't even get me started on currency conversion, right? There's a big issue that plagues every single nation around the world, or anyone that wants to send and receive money or convert money. And that is the traditional financial system. It is broken. We know finance is broken. When it comes to stablecoins, though, we can swap in and out of other currencies and make payments and transactions so quick, so easy, and it's extremely cost affordable. Why are we still living in the Stone Age of payments when we have tokenization, we have stablecoins, and we have digital assets? It makes no sense. And that's exactly why we are now starting to see these big companies and these big giants in the traditional financial space warming up to the idea of actually utilizing stablecoins. Now, outside of this, like I said, the discussions around stablecoins have been pretty heavy, even in the month of February, for an example. So David Sachs recently said that he sees stablecoins creating trillions in demand for treasuries. Because again, when we think about stablecoins, they are fully backed by US dollars, or at least most of the legitimate ones, right? And we have here a direct quote. Stablecoins have the potential to ensure American dollar dominance internationally, to increase the usage of the US dollar digitally as the world's reserve currency, and in the process create potentially trillions of dollars of demand for US treasuries, which could lower long-term interest rates. And we want that value creation to happen in the United States rather than giving it away to other countries. This will also, I should add, be much better for consumer protection because it's easier for regulators to supervise an activity when it's onshore. And it's probably not a coincidence that the single biggest fraud in history of crypto, which was FTX, was based in the Bahamas. So as we really think about the regulatory side of things, and when we think about stablecoins, yeah, it 100% makes sense on accelerating the overall regulatory path for stablecoins to finally be rushed in and adopted in and even integrated within the global financial system. Because again, this would revolutionize the way that we send and receive money, especially around the retail sector. And this will also support the dollar. And we also have how US stablecoin regulation could change the game for global payments. This was February 7th. And again, this talked a little bit about how Stripe, was really kind of pushing for, acquisitions of stablecoin infrastructure platform Bridge, which closed on Tuesday, February 4th, by the way. And a direct quote here was, stablecoins aren't the future. They're already transforming how people move money today. Because again, it makes a lot of sense. The traditional system is broken. And we have a quote from Stripe. We believe stablecoins will play a critical role in turbocharging cross-border commerce. Guys, I use Stripe every single day. I run e-commerce businesses. They rely heavily on Stripe, and Stripe processes payments so quick. And I do believe that it is because they actually utilize stablecoins. I do believe that they actually utilize DLT within their business model. I might be wrong on that, but it definitely makes sense for, stablecoins to be tapped in when it comes to e-commerce because it is a, fast space. I mean, e-com is one of the biggest areas right now in terms of just commerce in general. In fact, it's actually overshadowing in-store purchases, and it always has ever since like Amazon became a big hit. So when we think about how big the e-commerce space is and how, stablecoins will easily disrupt that, it's proving to us how big stablecoins will be. Now, on top of that, we also have U.S. lawmakers propose stablecoin bill to boost dollar dominance, and this actually got posted on the 7th. And what's crazy about this is, they are now pushing this forward because they want to accelerate it. They want to promote stablecoins that are backed by the US dollar because it actually supports the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. And we actually have a quote here that by implementing a clear regulatory structure for payment stablecoins, we can support continued innovation, bolster the US dollar's position as the world's reserve currency, and protect consumers and investors. So when we think about this, right, we now know that, the Senate is working on this, Congress is also working on this, and also the SEC is now working on this all together. And I believe that the CFTC is in on this as well. So when we think about what's about to happen around stablecoins in the US, things are about to shift into overdrive. And we also have another conference that is upcoming. This actually got posted earlier yesterday, and this is actually from the Digital Euro Association. Yes, the same organization that Ripple is a part of. And this is a quote saying, "We're happy to have Accenture on board as a silver sponsor for the Digital Euro Conference. Join us on March 27th, 2025, and meet the leading experts in the industry." Now, when we actually look into this, we could see the full breakdown. So there is a lot of discussions happening in this. We actually have the about section of this event. They're going to be talking about CBDC, stablecoins, and commercial bank money tokens. And we actually have, as our economy and payment systems continue to digitize, new forms of money are emerging. And here we have central banks around the world are exploring CBDCs, while CBMT, have the potential to transform the financial sector, paving the way for a future where public and private forms of money coexist seamlessly. And if we look down here, we have the topic breakdown. So offline payments are being talked about here in terms of status quo, design and tech aspects, use cases, implementation and adoption, legal considerations, wholesale versus retail, implications for the industry and end users, CBDCs in general. This is CBDC cross-border payments and geopolitics, CBDCs and AI, CBDCs and digital ID, CBDCs, lessons learned and adoption strategies, and then wholesale CBDC projects and use cases. Then, of course, we do have stablecoins and commercial bank money tokens. Again, when we think about what's happening here, we're starting to see everything focused on heavily around this space. And what's crazy about this is look at the speakers and the panelists here. This is continuously updated. So we have the Banque de France here, the Banco Central do Brasil, so the Central Bank of Brazil, KPMG, and the Digital Euro Association, of course, Deutsche Bundesbank, Global Legal Entity Identifier Foundation, Eurocommerce. There's so many big players here. You have DZ Bank, Worldline, SDX. You also have the ECB being mentioned, the Central Bank of Turkey, Wyoming Stable Token Commission, Bank of Korea. I mean, guys, these are massive these are massive central banks and major banks as well. And of course, listen, it wouldn't be a major conference with a whole bunch of financial giants without Ripple being represented there. You seriously can't make this up. By the way, Swift will also be there. Interesting. And this is definitely one that we are going to keep a close eye out on for, because this is going to be a very big event. Now, again, stablecoins being the highlight of this event, we seriously go back to the US market, because I do believe that we are going to see a stablecoin launch in almost every single nation around the world, including, of course, Europe. We will have a digital euro. We will have a euro stablecoin. But how will it stack up against the dollar? And even if we go over here, big shout out to Subjective Views. This is Chris Giancarlo, aka Crypto Dad, comments on a Financial Times article titled "How Washington Plans to Defend the Dollar." The way to preserve the US dollar's reserve currency status in future of digital networks is to make dollar usage utterly compelling for non-Americans. That means championing good economic values and embracing cyber innovation. We are on an accelerated timeline. And if we look at this, we can see this might seem odd, not least because it is diametrically opposed to the European Central Bank. Some cynics will undoubtedly attribute it to the fact that Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, helped to build Tether, the biggest existing coin. But there is another factor too. Trump's team thinks stablecoins might be a secret weapon to promote more, not less, dollarization. It's very good for us, one tells me. That is because 21st century stablecoins like the 20th century euro dollar market enable transactions in offshore dollars that are free from onerous onshore regulations. This appeals to many financiers grappling with geopolitical risk, even if stablecoins, unlike euro dollars, do not pay returns. In practice, the current market cap of stablecoins, about 220 billion, is still piddling compared with euro dollars, let alone the $6 trillion odd US capital markets. But the key point in this is that as Trump keeps trying to remake or smash up the post-war geopolitical order, it is not just tariffs and tanks that matter. Financial plumbing does too. These nascent battles about CBDC and stablecoins could, well, take center stage this year. As the Atlantic Council notes, anyone know how to parse Enbridge in Chinese? So again, we're starting to see the focus put on the tech side of things. When we look at what's going on here, I said this going back to 2023, the summer of 2023, and this is so important even today. I said the dollar is dead, the US is doomed. That was the quote, right? Because even then, every single day we had headline after headline after headline about how the dollar is losing dominance. I said the perfect problem and the perfect solution is being presented to the world all at once. The problem, 99% of the general public is being distracted. There are significant projects and solutions in this space that could easily make the global monetary system a lot more efficient and bring about a technological revolution like no other. I strongly believe that de-dollarization, use of other settlement currencies and systems, the BRICS expanding and developing new currencies is all an accelerant for the new system to rise. Again, even the geopolitical tensions is now just one big accelerant. Focus on the major connections with the IMF, XRP, XDC, XLM, blockchain DOT are going to be utilized. Some already are, but without scale. They are preparing. The infrastructure is being built. Because if we actually look at this is from the IMF going back to June of 2022. And in this, they actually talk about how the international monetary system may be at the threshold of significant change from a combination of economic, geopolitical, and even technological forces. Now, within this, we also have a mixed blessing. The new technologies will both help and hinder emerging market economies, with collateral effects that, coupled with other developments, in the end may enhance dollar dominance rather than erode it. They were telling us this even then, and when we think about the world today, majority of DeFi volume and even crypto volume is tied right back to the dollar. And even here we have on this last quote, although digital technologies enables new forms of money that could challenge fiat currencies and set off a new era of domestic and international currency competition, it is equally likely that these new forces will create more centralization, with some currencies accreting even more power and influence. In other words, many of these changes might reinforce rather than weaken the dollar's dominance. And then we go over here to wrap this video up. Big shout out to Tony Edward for this. He actually had Jason Brett, which is a former U.S. regular at the FDIC and current managing director at Keybridge Advisors. He's actually sharing his insights on how USD-backed stablecoins can actually help the U.S. government maintain the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. Check this out.
So I think that you're going to see the U.S. I don't want to say weaponize, but certainly utilize stablecoins to make sure we stay on top. And I think that's why you see such support from Democrats as well as Republicans. Remember, Maxine Waters introduced her own stablecoin, much more restrictive, but they all see the writing on the wall. And this all goes back to 2019 when, Libra came out and they're like, well, we don't want Mark Zuckerberg to be the new face of the US dollar. We need something to do it. And now we're kind of here today. And I think this will be the final result of what a stable coin, quote unquote, regulated harnessed stable coin will look like in a way that it can be our fast horse and keep us competitive in the global landscape. of the monetary order.
Thank you for bringing up that Libra situation because I remember Maxine Waters, she was leading the charge and trying to shut that thing down, right? They were like, no, 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 we're going to have a hearing where this is not happening. And in hindsight, you look at this, what's happening, and in context of what you just said, Facebook had the ability, because they're in multiple countries, to create their own world reserve currency if they wanted to, with what they were trying to do. So no wonder that got shut down quickly.
So yeah, I mean, listen, as we really think about what's happening here, that's why RLUSD is so significant. That's why all the meetings with Ripple between, these high level individuals at this current presidential admin are also so important to focus on, because, why wouldn't RLUSD be a big success story for the US market? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it be backed by the government? Why wouldn't it be pushed by the government when we know that they are now promoting, stablecoin usage for backing US dollar dominance? I mean, it makes 100% perfect sense, especially when we know that Ripple is a US based, crypto company that has been, promoting how payments and the entire financial system could be made efficient if all they did was actually change the plumbing out with DLT. They're already here. They've already spent, over a decade building, pushing this tech forward. Ripple's already prepared for this. They're already ready for this. And I get it, right? Like, we've been waiting. There hasn't been much, but we're so close. I think that we're getting, very close to actually having regulations for stablecoins. And everything right now is accelerating stablecoins. Even the geopolitical tension, everything that we're now seeing around the world is really kind of just highlighting the push on stablecoins. I truly do believe that stablecoins could be the secret weapon for the US. I also do think that RLUSD and Ripple could definitely be a big secret weapon for the US as well. And I think that a lot of people overlook that. Because again, when we know what we know about the XRP ledger and XRP, I don't think that we have to sit here, thinking, oh, I wonder if, XRP or XRPL would be, very good to use in the US for Ripple. Like, no, it definitely would, because we know how significant the tech actually is. We know what's capable, what's capable with this tech is it's 100, if not 1,000 times more efficient than the traditional system. Which is why we keep saying, like, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for that one big accelerant to really kind of form. And I think that we're getting there with a lot of these geopolitical tensions and, the push on, adopting these new technologies, the AI race, the tech race. We're there. We're in the middle of it. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on, because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.